Frank Bonada here for Sportskeeda MMA. Joining me today is Cory McKenna, head of a upcoming fight with Elise Reed at the UFC's return to London in March. How's it going, Cory?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. It's been over a year now, I think, since you last stepped into the UFC octagon, due to I think it was an ankle injury, was it? Sustained in the fight with Kay Hansen?
Yeah, I had an ankle injury and then I booked my comeback fight and then I had concussion symptoms. So
All right,
back-to-back injury.
grim. Um, yeah, I imagine that must have been really rough having to sit out, for so long after having a successful UFC debut. How have you sort of kept yourself mentally on track during that time?
Just trying to train really. The last one was probably the hardest because I couldn't really train through it. Like usually like with the ankle, I was
Hmm.
lifting weights, doing single leg work, working around it. But the headaches made it hard for sure. um but yeah, just kind of finding different things to focus on, so regardless of whether I can train or not, I'm in the gym watching, learning, trying to work around it, and just kind of trying to make the best of the situation, because at the end of the day, like, I spent my whole life dreaming of being in this place, so I don't want to waste it by feeling sorry for myself.
100%. We'll get into the fight stuff in a moment, but uh, Poppins paintings, did that start during that time when you were out, getting into the art business, so to speak?
So I've been painting pretty much, since I was a child.
Mm.
But I didn't really have or feel like I had the platform to kind of, really put too much into it. But definitely after I got injured, it was a little bit of an outlet for me that I couldn't do as much. And also, I had the following and stuff, so I figured, it might be worth giving my stuff a share and seeing how people, getting people's feedback on it.
What's the response been like?
Pretty positive. I started selling a few pieces and just kind of people making requests and stuff, which was pretty cool. That's another side of things that, as a kid I wanted to do. So for me to be able to kind of do that as a little side hobby, that's, it's nice for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So this training camp, has it all been at Team Alpha Male? I've seen pictures of you with Sarah, with training with like the likes of Sarah McCann and Macy Barber. Um, has that been your stable for this camp?
Yeah, so I've known Sarah for years, like ever since I first started coming out here. So
Mhm.
she's always around and always happy to, to help and give me looks. So she's obviously, she's world class. So trying to maximize that. On top of my wrestling with Danny Castillo, make sure I'm covering all bases. And Macy's at Team Alpha Male now. So yeah, I've definitely been working a lot with those two. We have a few other fighters like Yan and that she's fighting soon. But yeah, I haven't left Team Alpha Male in probably 2 years now. I came out after the Contenders fight and I stayed out here.
Uh, any idea on who's going to be in your corner yet? You don't reckon Uriah might come out to the UK?
No, due to the
Hmm.
vaccination requirements and everything, I'll be bringing Danny Castillo over, and then I'll have Jack Mason and one of my old training partners in my corner.
No, but you can't complain with Jack and Danny. Does it make a difference to you competing over in the UK? So, like you said, you've been out in the US for the past 2 years now, but I'm sure you still have a great pop from the crowd when you walk out. So yeah, does it make a difference to you mentally where you compete, in front of a home crowd, so to speak?
In terms of actually fighting, not really. Like, I feel like, once I get in there, I'm just focusing on the fight.
Mm.
But the London card was huge for me. I actually I personally pressed for the London card once I heard that it was going ahead. After I was cleared for my headaches and everything. We contacted them and I was like, I want on the March card. Told them I didn't want anything unless they were going to guarantee I was on that, because all my family's going to be there, all my friends. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be big for me. I haven't fought in front of a crowd for 3 years, and then I get the opportunity to have all my loved ones there, so it's going to be great.
That's awesome. I was doing some research earlier and came across a great video from Cage Warriors 104, I think it was, during a fight with Redman. Molly McCann can sort of be seen in the corner, just like screaming advice to you the whole fight, like saying like "be horrible, be horrible." It just sort of made me wonder: are you still in contact? Do you have any relationship with Molly and any of the other UK fighters on this card?
Yeah, I still talk to her from time to time. You know, we follow each other and everything.
Mm.
I trained with her quite a bit, you know, whilst I was in the UK. I think I first trained with her when I was like 16. So, you know,
Okay.
we kind of go back. So yeah, she's super cool. Yeah, she's definitely a personality, and it's going to be great to share the card with her. So, you know, and many others that obviously I know very well. So it's going to be a great card, you know, surrounded by people that I know and I get along really well with. And it's, you know, it's probably the first time since maybe like the Cage Warriors Wales cards that I've had the opportunity to like share a card with a lot of my friends.
100%. Speaking of Wales, do you reckon, or what do you reckon the chances are that we ever get a UFC Wales?
Yeah, I mean, like say the Welsh MMA is growing significantly. There's a lot of there's a lot of guys in the UFC now, like from Wales, and I feel like it's just going to continue to grow. You know, especially with like this, you know, the local scene and the the Cage Warriors scene around there. So I could see for sure, like in the coming years, like people keep pressing for it. You know, like I could definitely see it happening. Or at least I hope so.
Yeah, no, me too. um, okay, let's speak about your opponent, Elise Reed. What do you make of her, just stylistically?
Yeah, she's a legit girl. Obviously, that's to be expected. Once I get to this level, you know, predominantly a striker, but I'm sure she's no slouch on the ground. Like, you know, she's had a lot of grappling exchanges in her career, but I know that she's like a taekwondo black belt or something. So yeah, I'm expecting to come out pretty well rounded. You know, everyone trains super hard for their fights, especially once you get to this level. I feel like no one's the same fighter when they go in there the next time, second, the third. I feel like everyone's constantly progressing at this level. So, you know, I'm expecting to kind of just see a completely different person. And I'm just making sure that I'm prepared to my best, you know, all around, as opposed to focusing on her.
100%. What sort of performance are you hoping to show? You know, considering you've been out for quite a while, you know, what sort of performance do you want to like reintroduce yourself, I suppose, to fans across the world?
Uh, I'd like to kind of, you know, recapture what I was doing in the Cage Warriors days, you know, come out nice and aggressive, get like a nice grindy wrestling, grappling kind of exchanges off, and then start looking for that finish. You know, I'd like to get a finish in there, obviously, and put on a nice, like, you know, entertaining performance for the crowd.
In like a perfect world, what sort of finish do you envision?
Ooh, I like all of them. You know, if I can grab a neck or an elbow or face, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Um, so now that you are back and fully fit, how regular are you hoping to be competing this year?
Um, Pretty much as many as I can get. Sorry, one sec.
No worries.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm gonna try not to put a number on it this year. Like every year I go in there, I'm like, I want 3 or 4 fights, I want 3 or 4 fights, and then, you know, something happens. You know, nothing ever seems to go to plan. So I don't want to jinx myself, but you know, I'd definitely like to stay more active. You know, I'd like to keep these performances, these fights as damaged and risk free as possible, so that I can, you know, look to just jump straight back in there. And you know, I'm hoping to kind of make up for lost time. Like say it's been a year and a half since I fought, and then like, you know, I had those two pretty consecutively, and then it was like a year and a half before that. So I just feel like everything's getting dragged out, and I'm young, so I'm not, you know, I don't like to sit here and be like I'm behind schedule, but at the same time, like I do feel like I want to play catch up a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I think that's completely reasonable. Are there any other fights out there? Of course, you're focused on Reed right now, but like, you know, is there anyone else that you sort of see and think, oh, that could be a fun fight?
You know, the whole division, you know, like say like I'm not in a position now where I'm going to be picky, and I also, you know, I'm not high enough a level where I can be like, oh, I want her. You know, at the end of the day, like the division is probably the most stacked division in the whole, you know, in the whole women's of all the women's divisions. It's probably like the most stacked. You know, there's so much talent, so many different styles, so many different looks, and I'm kind of just sure that whatever they throw my way is going to be fun and entertaining for everybody.
It looks like at the top of the division, Rose Namajunas might be fighting, I think, Cara Esparza next. Who do you see coming out on top of that?
Probably Rose.
Mm. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you today, Corey. Thank you so much for coming on. If there's any social media plugs or shout outs you'd like to give, feel free.
Yeah, just I'm on everything as Cory McKenna 99. Like you said, I've got Poppins paintings, so if you want to check them out. And then thank you to my sponsors, like Frankton helped me a lot financially. I got QNT Sports, Tatami Fightwear, Stone Sports Management, my manager, and then probably forgetting people, so I'll probably tag them when I share it too. But I just appreciate everybody's support, and I'm really excited to get in there in a few weeks.
Awesome. We will look forward to watching you, and yeah, best of luck.